Imagine reaching the age of 80, and yet your mind still feels as fresh as a morning breeze. While the world assumes that aging means slowing down, there are rare individuals who quietly prove something extraordinary. They do not chase youth, yet youth seems to follow them in spirit, curiosity, and presence. This is not about physical strength, it is about mental aliveness, emotional lightness, and spiritual awareness. Today's reflection is simple yet powerful. 99% of 80-year-olds cannot do this one thing. And if you can, it is not just a sign of age, it is a sign of awakening. Because true aging is not measured in years, but in how open your heart remains to life. In the next few moments, let's explore what it truly means to age in reverse. A journey where the body may grow older, but the soul refuses to become old. And perhaps, by the end, you will realize it is not about being 80, it is about being alive. Let us begin this reflection not with fear of aging, but with curiosity about how deeply life can still be experienced at any stage of existence with awareness and gratitude and deep gratitude. Point 1. Staying mentally awake at 80. There is a deeper kind of aging that has nothing to do with wrinkles or walking speed. It is the quiet sleep of the mind while the body is still alive. Most people do not realize this subtle truth. Many do not grow old because of years, but because they stop being mentally awake to life. Let me share a story. There was an 82-year-old man who used to sit every morning on the same wooden bench in a small park. People assumed he was lonely. One day, a young man asked him, "Uncle, don't you feel bored doing the same thing every day?" The old man smiled softly and said, "I am not bored. I am observing life. Every day, the birds are different. Every day, my thoughts are different. The world is not repetitive, our attention is." That statement carries a profound truth. The difference between feeling alive and feeling old is not in the body, it is in attention. When we stop noticing small joys, a breeze on the face, laughter of a child, or even the sound of footsteps, we begin to age mentally. And once the mind stops noticing, the heart slowly follows. In spiritual wisdom, awareness is life itself. To be aware is to be alive. To be unaware is to exist mechanically. Most people at 80 are not physically unable to live, they are mentally convinced that there is nothing new left to experience. That belief is the real aging process. But those rare individuals who remain curious, who still ask questions, who still observe the world with wonder, they are the ones who defy aging from within. So the first sign of aging in reverse is simple. Your mind is still awake, still curious, still open. This does not mean your life must be busy or complicated. It simply means your inner lens is not dull. Even in silence, you are noticing life unfolding gently around you. The sound of wind, the rhythm of breath, the play of light and shadow all become part of your awareness. When this happens, even ordinary moments feel meaningful. That is why such people often appear peaceful and content even without external excitement. Their joy comes from presence rather than possessions. They are not waiting for life to happen, they are experiencing it as it happens fully. And in that fullness, aging quietly loses its weight and becomes just another journey of awareness, unfolding moment by moment with gratitude and peace within the heart that refuses to close itself to life ever again. This is why such minds feel light even in old age, because they are not trapped in yesterday or worried about tomorrow. They simply live in now with gentle awareness and gratitude for every breath they receive as gift of existence itself, and this presence becomes their greatest wealth and their silent strength which no age can diminish ever. This is true awakening beyond years, where life is seen as gift unfolding moment by moment with deep inner stillness within. Point 2. Embracing change without resistance. There is something profoundly spiritual about change. Life is never static, it flows like a river. Yet the human mind often tries to become a stone in that river, resisting every movement, every shift, every new wave of reality. I want to tell you about an elderly woman from Chennai who once believed that change was punishment disguised as progress. For years, she refused to touch a smartphone. Her grandchildren would visit less often, not out of lack of love, but because communication had silently moved into a digital world she refused to enter. Slowly, silence began to grow in her home. Not the peaceful silence of meditation, but the heavy silence of disconnection. One day, she made a decision that changed everything. She walked into a small mobile shop and said, "Teach me like I am a child." The shopkeeper smiled, slightly surprised, but agreed. And so began her journey, not just of learning technology, but of learning humility again. She struggled at first. Buttons confused her. Screens felt overwhelming. But she persisted. And slowly, something beautiful happened. She stopped fearing mistakes. Within months, she was video calling her grandchildren, laughing at her own errors, sending voice notes filled with warmth instead of hesitation. When asked why she changed her mind, she said, "I realized I was not too old to learn. I was only too afraid to change." That is the essence of aging in reverse. Not resisting life, but participating in it fully. Change does not ask for permission, it simply arrives. And those who bow to it with resistance suffer, while those who bow with acceptance grow. In spirituality, flexibility is not weakness, it is wisdom. A rigid mind breaks, but a flexible mind bends and survives. So, at any age, but especially at 80, the question is not what have I lost, but what can I still learn? Those who keep answering this question daily remain young in spirit. Their body ages, but their curiosity keeps them alive inside. And perhaps that is the real miracle, not to stop time, but to stop becoming close to life. In the end, aging in reverse is not about technology, travel, or external activity. It is about the inner climate of the heart. When the heart remains soft, even at 80, life feels new every morning. When the heart hardens, even youth feels like exhaustion. There is a sacred simplicity in accepting what comes, learning from it, and letting go of what cannot be controlled. This is what keeps the mind light and the soul spacious. At that stage of life, wisdom is not knowledge accumulation but emotional liberation. It is the ability to smile at memories without being trapped by them. And when a person reaches that state, whether at 40 or 80, they are no longer aging forward, they are simply living fully, freely, and fearlessly in every breath they take. That is true aging in reverse, with gratitude and presence always within the now moment. Point 3. Letting go of bitterness and emotional weight. One of the heaviest burdens people carry into old age is not physical, it is emotional. It is the weight of unresolved anger, unspoken pain, and silent grudges collected over decades. I once met an elderly gentleman in Vrindavan who said something unforgettable. "I have no enemies anymore. I only have memories that I no longer wish to fight with." That sentence reflects emotional maturity. Because at 80, carrying hatred is like drinking poison and expecting someone else to suffer. Those who age in reverse are not those who had a pain free life. They are those who learn to release pain instead of storing it. Forgiveness is not about the other person, it is about freeing your own heart from unnecessary burden. When bitterness leaves, energy returns. When resentment dissolves, joy quietly enters. And suddenly the heart feels lighter than it has in years. Point 4. Staying curious and playful with life. The most beautiful sign of youth is not age, it is curiosity. There are people at 80 who still laugh at new jokes, still ask questions, still try new things without fear of looking foolish. And there are people at 40 who have already stopped learning. I once met a retired teacher who started learning painting at 78. He said, "I do not paint to become an artist. I paint to remind myself that I am still capable of becoming something new." That mindset is aging in reverse, because life does not stop offering possibilities. We stop receiving them. Final reflection. Aging in reverse is not a miracle of the body but a transformation of perception. It begins when a person stops measuring life by what has been lost and starts valuing what still remains. In youth, we often chase more success, more validation, more possessions. But with time, wisdom gently whispers that fulfillment is not in accumulation, but in awareness. When a person at any age learns to stay open, to stay kind, and to stay curious, something beautiful happens. The weight of time begins to dissolve. The body may show signs of aging, but the heart begins to feel light again. This lightness is what we call aging in reverse. It is not about denying reality but embracing it with grace. It is not about escaping life's challenges but meeting them with a softer heart and a quieter mind. Those who live this way do not fear aging, they flow with it. They understand that every wrinkle carries a story, every memory carries a lesson, and every breath is still a gift. And perhaps the greatest realization is this: life does not become smaller with age, our perception of life either expands or shrinks. When it expands, even at 80, a person can feel as alive as a child seeing the world for the first time. That is true wisdom. That is true peace. That is aging in reverse. It is the art of living fully with awareness and gratitude in every moment. May we all learn to age not with fear but with awareness. May every stage of life become an opportunity to grow inwardly, to love more deeply, and to live more peacefully, until the very last breath becomes a gentle celebration of having truly lived. Life itself becomes enough with deep inner peace always now.